Hi everybody, good morning. Hopefully you guys watched my video yesterday, my very first video. I know that things are not going to be perfect, probably at all this week, because there's a lot that I'm learning about doing all of this, but I appreciate you all being patient with me. Even just this morning I came in and was trying to kind of mess with some things. I don't know if I made that big of a difference, but we'll see. So, before I jump into this, I have a couple of reminders and announcements for everybody. So, hopefully at this point you have already picked up everything that you need from the school. Monday was technically the last day for pickup, but if I still have a couple of people that need to come pick up, I can work something out with the school. We'll make sure that you get what you need to get. Email me, samcbride@bantasd.org. If you don't have your stuff yet, please email me so that I can get that to you. Also, please make sure that you are either set up on your student's email, so their Gmail account, not your parent email account, but your student's Gmail account. And if you're having trouble logging into that, again, email me. Or you are set up on Class Dojo. So if you are already set up on Class Dojo, you don't have to worry about it. Any kind of message that needs to get out to everybody, I will make sure gets out on Class Dojo. If you're not on Class Dojo or you're struggling with Class Dojo and you're not on that student email and you can't figure out how to get the student email, please email me so that we can figure that out, because that's going to be my main two modes of communication. And everything that I'm going to push out, I'm going to push out to both places. So as long as you have at least one, you're okay. But make sure that you do have at least one, and if you don't, talk to me. Secondly, I realized that I sent out a message in an email and also in letter format that you were supposed to get instructions for how to get on Zoom. For whatever reason, that didn't end up happening, which is fine. What I went ahead and did is I took that document with instructions for how to get on Zoom and I pushed it out to Class Dojo and to the student emails. So again, if you're connected to at least one of those, you should have access to instructions for how to get on Zoom. If it's still kind of like, I'm not so sure how this works, or this is really confusing, we can set up a private Zoom meeting where I can kind of show you how everything works, which is kind of what I'm going to do on Friday anyway, just kind of play with it and make sure that everyone's comfortable with using the format. But you can also email me, I can call you, whatever we need to get you set up on Zoom. I highly recommend that you try it out. Even if it's just I'm in one room and somebody else is in the other room, try it out. See if you can set up a conference, see if you can accept joining a conference, see if you can kind of play around with how do I mute my microphone and how do I turn off my video if I don't want my video on, or how do I join the chat bar in the sides so that I can ask my teacher a question. Whatever it is, I highly recommend that you figure it out with a family member or with a friend. If there's a friend that you've been dying to talk to, Zoom them. That's a great way to kind of get familiar with it. And if we're still having troubles, we'll work it out on Friday. It's just the first week. I'm not too worried about it. But I wanted to put that out there. Zoom instructions are out. Make sure that you are on either email or Dojo. You can be on both. You just might get the same message twice, which is fine. Okay, so yesterday you should have watched my video for our very first ELA lesson where we talked about our high frequency words for the week, and we read a book and we talked a little bit about compare and contrast. So what I'm planning on doing is kind of alternate days where one day will be an ELA lesson and one day will be a math lesson. So today we're going to start with our very first math lesson. So before we left, we had just finished chapter 6, and so great time to start a brand new lesson, great time to start a brand new chapter. We're going to totally start over, and we're going to start chapter 7 today. And chapter 7 is actually probably my favorite chapter in the whole Go Math series. I'm really excited for it, and it's going to be all about comparing numbers. Now, normally I would have us do some kind of work with manipulatives, or I'd have us do a call and response. That's a little bit hard to do over video. So we're going to do something we actually haven't really done in math class before, but it's something that the big kids do all the time. So we are actually going to take some notes, some math notes today. So you are going to need either your notebook, your IJ, or some kind of blank paper or lined paper that you know you are not going to lose, because we are going to refer back to these notes throughout this chapter. So please, 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 wherever you write it down, make sure that you don't lose it. Your IJ is a great place because you always have your IJ with you. So pause the video if you need to, go find your IJ. We're going to open up to the next blank page. We're going to write down today's date. Here we go. Alright, so today's date is 3, because it's March, dash 31 dash 2020. 3-31-2020. And what I'm going to go ahead and do, just to remind me what these notes are for, I'm going to go ahead and write just over in the corner, I'm going to write math, M-A-T-H, 7.1. This is 7th chapter, first lesson, math 7.1. And this is today's date, March 31st, 2020. Again, if at any point in time you need to pause the video, like, hold on, Miss McBride, you're going too fast, you can slow me down. Remember, there's some settings kind of, I believe there's somewhere up here to slow down my talking, and then you can also pause me at any point in time to make sure that you have enough time to copy this down. All right, so there are 3 main vocab terms that we're going to be talking. Well, really, there's 4. There's 4. So the very first one that we're going to be talking about, and something that you're going to hear me say a lot, is the word compare. We're going to go ahead and write down the word compare. C-O-M-P-A-R-E. Compare. C-O-M-P-A-R-E. Compare. And when I say the word compare, when I'm talking about math, I'm meaning to look at 2 different numbers and see which is the long one. That's okay, it's going to be the longest one. Which is greater or less. Now would be a really great time to pause this video. That's a lot to write down. Promise it's going to be the longest one. But when I'm talking about the word compare, I'm meaning, okay, we're going to look at 2 different numbers. Could be any number that we want. And we're going to see which one is greater and which one is less. So go ahead and write that down. Pause the video if you want to. I'm going to move right on ahead to the next one. So our next one is greater than. Or I'm just going to write greater. Greater. When I say that a number is greater than another number, what I really mean is that the first number is bigger than the second number. And you'll see what that looks like later on. First number is bigger than the second number. Just to make it easier so I know actually where my words are, like, okay, what am I learning? I'm going to make a box around the word greater. That's greater, that's what it means. I'm going to make a box around the word compare. Maybe you don't need to do that, but for me it just makes it easier. Like, okay, that's my word, that's my definition. That's my word, that's my definition. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but it makes it easier for me to kind of focus. So once again, compare means to look at 2 different numbers and to see which is greater or less. Greater means that the first number is bigger than the second number. First number is bigger than the second number. Oh, and I almost forgot. I'm going to use a crayon for this one. You don't have to, but I like to use it because we're going to make this kind of big and I want it to stand out a little bit. I'm going to use, let's use blue today. Okay, so with greater, first number is bigger than the second number. That word actually has a symbol that goes with it, and you'll see more what that means later on. But greater than has a symbol that goes with it, and it looks like this. Just like that. Just like that. This looks like a, I don't know what that looks like. Backwards L. Triangle that's not finished. But there's greater. Make sure that you write the little symbol that goes next to it. Our next one, moving along. By the way, if you guys are running out of room, move on to the next page. No big deal at all. I know that this is a lot of writing, so whatever kind of space you need, take it. Okay, so we have compare, we have greater. Our next one is the word less. Now, you probably already know what the word less means, L-E-S-S, but when we're talking about a number being less than another number in math, we're really saying that the first number is smaller than the second number. First number is smaller than the second number. Go ahead and do my box around my word. This one also has a little symbol. It's the same symbol going the other way. Just like that. Again, you don't have to use a crayon if you don't have one. I just happen to have some with me. You could use your pencil if you needed to. Greater means first number is bigger than the second number. Less means first number is smaller than the second number. I know this all seems a little bit confusing. We'll do some practice together in just a moment that should hopefully make this a little bit more clear. Again, great time to pause the video. Everything's already up there. Go ahead and pause it. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. So, our very last vocab word. I'm going to scooch mine all the way up. Hopefully I have enough room. I might even run out of some room. Our very last one is equal to. Equal to. When a number is equal to another number, that means they're the same. The numbers, N-U-M-B-E-R-S, the numbers are the same. Go ahead and write my box or draw my box around my vocab word. And there is a symbol that goes with equal to. Anyone remember what it is? What do we write when we say that two things are equal? Make sure I have my crayon. That's right. Equal sign. So there's greater than, less than, equal to. Opening up this way, and two equal signs. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to do my very best to have them all out at the same time. I don't know how easy that's going to be to see. I'm going to hold them like this so that you can pause it and hopefully get that all written down if you are missing some stuff. Alright, go ahead and moving on. So, we're going to use words like compare, greater than, less than, and equal to help us compare two different numbers. So, if I give you, let me get my whiteboard out, and you should get your whiteboard out too. Take a second, find your whiteboard marker. Make sure you have those. All right, so if I have a couple of numbers, like let's say I have the number 3 and I have the number 7, and I want to compare those two numbers. That means that I want to look at these two numbers and I want to see, is the first one greater? Is the first one less than? Are they equal? Well, right away we know that they're not what? They're not, definitely not equal, right? 3 and 7 are definitely not equal. I see that there's a little light right there, but I don't know how to fix that. Hopefully you guys can see. 3 and 7 are definitely not the same number, so I'm definitely not going to write equal there. They're not the same. Instead, I have a 3 over here, and I have a 7 over here. Now, is my first number smaller than my second number or bigger than my second number? Is 3 smaller or bigger than 7? Hopefully you said that 3 is smaller than 7. I would rather have $7 than $3 personally. I think that 3 is smaller than 7. So I'm going to look back at my notes. First number is smaller than the second number, okay? First number is smaller than the second number. I think that that's less. Okay, first number is smaller than the second number. Yep, that's less. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my less than symbol. I'm going to put it right there. 3 is less than 7. What if I put it like that? There we go. 3 is less than 7. Now, what if I had numbers like, try to erase this, 8 and 2. I have the numbers 8 and 2. My first number is 8, my second number is 2. Now, is my first number bigger than my second number or smaller than my second number? Is 8 bigger than 2 or smaller than 2? Hopefully you said 8 was bigger than 2. So if I look back at my notes, it says the first number is bigger than the second number. Let's see, my first number is bigger than my second number. I think that's greater. Let's check. First number is bigger than the second number. Yes, that's greater. So I'm going to use my greater than symbol. Make sure it's going the right way. I'm going to put it right here. I'll get the hang of this, I promise. 8 is greater than 2. First number is bigger than my smaller number. Now, there is an easier way to do this. I say easier because it's easier for me. It might not be easier for you, but I remember learning it when I was in first grade, and I loved it, and I used it all the time. So I'm going to share with you my little trick for how to know which way the symbol goes. If it goes this way or this way, I will have you know. I'll give you a trick to show you which way it usually goes. So, I always like to pretend that my greater than and my less than signals or symbols, oh no, I can't say that today. I like to pretend that they're alligators. So I'm going to give them some teeth. And I'm going to give them a little eyeball. These are my alligators, my less than and greater than alligators. And my alligators are always hungry. They're so hungry that they always want to eat the bigger number. They always want to eat the bigger number. So my alligator, no matter where the bigger number is, it's going to open its mouth to eat the bigger number. So I need to erase this really quickly because I have green all over the place. But I'll be right back, and I'll show you how to use alligators to do less than and greater than. Okay, so let's look at two numbers and figure out which one the alligator is going to want to eat. So I'm going to write down the number, let's say the number 10 and the number 99. 10 and 99. Now, if you were a super, super, super hungry alligator, would you rather eat the 10 or the 99? I was a super hungry alligator. I'd rather eat the 99. That's a way bigger number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my alligator with his mouth open towards the 99. Now, if you want to draw your little teeth in here and you want to draw your little eyeball in here, that's fine to help you remember. But for me, I just use the normal symbol. Why can't I say that today? And I know, okay, that's my alligator mouth, and it's going to go towards the 99 because that is what my alligator wants to eat. Let's try a couple more. Let's say I have the numbers 22 and 65. Now, once again, I've got two very different numbers here. I've got a much bigger number and a much smaller number. And if I was that alligator that was super, super hungry, I am always going to want to eat the bigger number. So I'm going to draw my alligator with his mouth open, ready to eat that bigger number. 22 is less than 65. Is that starting to make sense a little bit? Just use your alligator. The only thing you need to remember is once you've drawn your alligator, okay, what does your alligator mean? Look back at your notes. Okay, I did my alligator this way. Does that mean greater than or less than? Okay, it means less than. So that's why I'm saying it's so important to keep these notes on you, because that way you can see, okay, I know which way to draw my alligator, but what does my alligator actually mean, greater than or less than? So make sure that you keep those on you. Okay, so in our class this year, we have worked a lot with two-digit numbers. I'm sure everyone who's watching this remembers when I made them model two-digit numbers using bars and dots. I'm sure everybody remembers that. We did that all the time when we did chapter 6. We're going to keep using a lot of two-digit numbers in chapter 7. So, two-digit numbers, as we know, have a tens place and a ones place. And in order to use greater than or less than, should have done it the other way, greater than or less than, you can either use the tens place, or you can use the ones place, or you can use both. So what I'm going to show you today is how to use the tens place to help you compare numbers, how you can use the ones place to help you use numbers, and then we're going to do some practice problems together. So let's say that I have the number 21. Oop, let me scoot that over. And I have the number 31. Now, I can either look at the tens place, which are these first numbers, or I can look at the ones place to help me decide which one is bigger. Now, if I look at my ones place, 21 has a 1 and 31 has a 1. They're the same number. That's not going to help me compare at all. So I need to look at my tens place, where I see a 2 in 21 and a 3 in 31. Now, I'm looking at my tens place. I see that the numbers are different. I see that 3 is bigger than 2. So I'm going to draw my alligator to eat the bigger number. 21 is less than 31. Do you guys see how I kind of used the tens place instead of the ones place to figure out which one was bigger? Let's try something different, but this time we're going to use the ones place. So let's say I have the numbers 73 and 76. So now I'm going to look at my tens place, 70 and 70. I know that they're exactly the same. That's not going to help me figure out which one's greater or which one's less than. They're exactly the same. So now what I need to do is look over at my ones place, because my ones place are different. I see a 3 and I see a 6. Now, which one is bigger, 3 or 6? Pretty sure it's 6. So, even though the tens place is the same, 6 is bigger than 3 in the ones place, so I know that 76 is bigger. And again, I'm going to draw my alligator to open up to the biggest number. So this time, I didn't use my tens place, I used my ones place to figure out which one was bigger. Does that kind of make sense? Hopefully it does. We're going to do some practice problems just so that I know for sure that this is making sense for you guys. So I am going to go ahead and go grab my Go Math practice book, and you should too, and I'll see you in just a second. All right, hopefully now you have your Go Math book out. We are going to go ahead and open up to page 125. Now, to make this easier to see on camera, I'm going to rip out page 125. You should not do that. I want you to not rip out any of your workbook pages this whole time that we're off. And the reason why I say that is because when you guys get back, I want to easily be able to check, did you do all the pages that you were supposed to do? And I want them all to be in the same place. So you can just hand me your workbook instead of having to figure out where all these different papers went. So, one more time, I am going to rip out this page. You should not be ripping out any pages. We're good? Okay, so I'm going to rip out page 125. Here we go. Now, it says, circle the greater number. Did tens or ones help you decide? So tens place or ones place. And then write the numbers. I'm going to walk you through every single one of these together so that I know for sure that we understand this. So let's take a look at just the very first problem. Number 1, it says circle the greater number. We have 22 and 42. You think you know the answer already and you know which way your alligator should go, go ahead and do it. All right, let's see if you were right. 42 is bigger than 22. So I'm going to make my alligator go this way. Okay? So, did tens or ones help you decide? Now here's kind of the tricky part. We're going to look at our tens places and we're going to look at our ones places. And we're going to figure out which one helped you decide which was the bigger number. Was it the tens place, 20 and 40? Or the ones place, 2 and 2? Well, it probably wasn't the ones place because those are the same. So we're going to take a look at that tens place again, 2 and 4, which is bigger, 4. So this time the tens helped me decide. Tens helped me decide. So I don't really like the way that the book has you do it this way. They always want you to say which is greater, which is greater, which is greater, which is fine, but it kind of can mess kids up a little bit. But once again, I'm going to lead you through each problem and hopefully together we'll be okay. So it says blank is greater than blank. Okay, so our numbers are 22 and 42, and we know which one's bigger, 42. So if 42 is bigger, that means it's greater than. 42 is greater than 22. 42 is greater than 22. I don't really like the way that they do that all that much, but it's still good practice. Because they kind of switch the sign on you, because the sign's going this way over here, but it's going this way over here. Oh well, we know that 42 is greater than 22, and we know how to write that. All right, number 2. Our next problem is 46 or 64. Which one is bigger, 46 or 64? If I was a hungry alligator, would I rather eat 46 pieces of food or 64 pieces of food? I think I'd rather have 64 pieces of food. That's going to be my bigger number. Okay, and once again, it asks you what helps you decide which number is bigger, tens or ones. Now, in our tens place, we have a 4 and a 6, which are different numbers. And in our ones place, we have a 6 and a 4, which are also different numbers. So which one actually helped us figure out which one was bigger? The tens place or the ones place? Because they both have different numbers. But which one actually helped us figure out which one's bigger? Think about it for a second. Maybe pause the video and talk to it. Talk about it with someone around you. Think about it for just a second. I'll tell you the answer. For me, it was the tens place. Because if I had 46 and 66, 66 still would have been bigger. But if I would have had 44 and 46, then 46 would have been bigger. I know that the number that's more important when we're figuring out which number is bigger is usually going to be the tens place. I'm going to go ahead and circle my tens. I know that 60 is bigger than 40. That helped me figure it out right away. So I'm going to say 64 is greater than 46. 64 is greater than 46. That one was kind of a tricky one, but I'm glad that we did it together. Because now you kind of know what to do if the numbers in the tens place are different and the numbers in the ones place are different. Alright, number 3. Okay, our two numbers are 88 and 86. Now these numbers are very close, but which one is bigger, 88 or 86? Hopefully you said 88. Because even though our tens place is the same, 80 and 80, we can look at our ones place and see that the number 8 is bigger than the number 6. 88 is bigger than 86. This time, the tens or ones place helped us. Remember, tens place was the same. It was the ones place that was different. Which one helped us? Ones place. We're going to go ahead and circle ones place. 86 is greater than 84. 86 is greater than 84. Okay. Last one, and I'm looking at this one, it's kind of tricky again. 29 and 92. 29 and 92. I'm a hungry alligator. Do I want 92 pieces of food or 29 pieces of food? I think I'd rather have 92 pieces of food. 92. Way, way bigger than 29. And which one helped us out? Which one helped us out? Was it the ones place, 90 versus 20? Or the ones place, 2 and 9? Now remember, when they both have different numbers, when the tens place has different numbers and the ones place has different numbers, we still use the tens place to help us out. That tens is always going to be more important than the ones place is going to be, okay? I'm going to go ahead and circle tens. I know that blank is greater than blank. Which one is bigger? 92. 92 is greater than 29. 92 is greater than 29. Okay, give you a chance to kind of copy that down a little bit. I'll make sure that gets in frame so that you have a chance to kind of pause the video, copy down what you need to copy down. And while you're doing that, if you have crayons and you would like to get them out, you can. If you do not have crayons, no big deal. You can still use a pen or pencil, no big deal whatsoever. I happen to have crayons with me and I happen to like things that are colorful, so I'm going to use my crayons, but don't feel like you have to. Let's see, I already used blue. What do I want to use now? I'll go ahead and use orange. I haven't used orange in a while. Okay. Moving it down to number 5. Now this one just has a bunch of blocks, and it says color the blocks that show numbers greater than 47. Let's zoom that in a little bit. Show greater than 47. So I'm going to go through every single one of these numbers, and if it's greater than 47, I'm going to color it in orange. Or you can color it in with your pencil or your pen, or you can color it in your favorite color if you have a different crayon. All right. 47. Is 22 bigger than 47? No, it's not. Is 51 bigger than 47? Oh, they're very close. Would you rather have 51 of something or 47? I'd rather have 51. 51 is greater than 47. I'm going to go ahead and color that one in. Okay. What about 48? Is 48 bigger than 47? Yeah, it's one bigger, but it's still bigger. Kind of like if you have a brother or sister that's only 1 year older than you, they're still older than you. What about the number 89? Is that bigger than 47? Oh yeah, way bigger. Way, way bigger. What about 17? 17 bigger than 47? Yeah, I don't think so, no. What about 74? 74 bigger than 47. 74. Well, I know that the tens place is bigger. I know I'd rather have 74 points in a game than I would 47. I'm going to say, yeah, 74 is definitely bigger than 47. And the last one we need to check, 46. Is 46 bigger than 47? Okay, make your page look like my page. Take some time to pause it. Do what you gotta do. Remember, if you don't have a crayon, that's okay. You can go ahead and use a pencil or a pen or whatever you have. And that is pretty much going to be it for our very first lesson on comparing numbers. Hopefully today you learned a little bit about greater than, less than, what comparing means, how to use your alligators. Your only homework on top of your MobyMax, make sure you're doing your MobyMax. Your only homework, you're going to flip this page over into page 126. Make sure that you are not ripping this out. Do not rip this out. Your only homework, page 126. Make sure you're finishing your MobyMax. Finish page 126. Again, if you have any questions, please make sure that you email me or you save it until Friday when we have our first Zoom meeting. It's going to be from 8 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock in the morning. All right? So hopefully I will see you then, and I'll see you tomorrow in my next video. Bye, guys.